And we're back here once again with another episode of the MSK show. And this is going to be episode 213. So I hope you guys had a great day. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your week that is ahead of you. So in this episode of the MSK show, for this Monday, we're just going to have a cool, nice, calm conversation. Because usually on Mondays, I like to basically do topics on the show that I could basically clip out and just use for YouTube videos actually. But I am way too tired. I just got off work and I literally went to Vaughn's stream to help him out with that. And then I was like, you know what? I'll just come over here straight after my show. And I'm like, you know what? Let's just have a good, calm conversation. Just, the four of us, we got two black guys, a Spanish guy, and a white guy. We have our diversity quotas already set up to be a complete success, right, guys?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So as you guys know, this past week, I did go out for the Las Vegas F&T Geeks and Gamers meetup. This week for this meetup for this year, they did it on Good Friday, which means that I couldn't even have the chance to request Friday off. Last year, I could have had the chance because it was on the CinemaCon week. So next year, if they have the meetup on the week of CinemaCon, I can ask for that Friday off because, well, obviously, it's not on a holiday weekend. So hopefully that can happen. But no, going to Vegas is always fun. I've been to Vegas quite a few times. I feel like I've never actually explored the full city, even though I've been to it many times. I even thought about just catching the bus to the bar Gold Spike, but I realized to myself, I don't even know how to do that. Where would the bus stops even be at? I don't even know those things,
They're pretty much everywhere on all the major streets. But if you're not familiar with the area and trying to then figure out your way back on bus, that might be a bit of a challenge. So
yeah, someone said just Uber everything. I was like, yeah, but the bus will be way cheaper. Ubering is what, $30 a drive when the bus could be maybe $5.
It depends on where you're going.
Yeah. Pickups and drop-offs from the strip are going to be a little more because there's so much more driving, getting stuck in traffic and everything involved. But it shouldn't be that much. But yeah, it's do you want to spend your money on that or just hang out with people?
Yeah. Sean Stackhouse, what's up, man? I haven't seen you in a long time. Hopefully you are doing good, buddy. Trap is definitely a white black guy. He's turned on his camera before. We can confirm he is a white black guy,
And my mom says I'm not black either, so that's confirmed. So.
I like your mom already. Good Lord, she did not affirm your delusions as a kid when you thought you were black.
Hey, MSK, fuck you.
What did I? Goddamn, man. See, this is why black people can't stick together. You guys, we're always against one another. I'm always trying to compete for the white man. You can compete for the Shaniquas, and we'll see who wins, man.
What is this? The Boondocks? I tell you, them black they ain't doing nothing good with them. You just need the theme song, and then that's MSK right there,
dude.
I don't need these black monkeys nowhere around me.
I think if we're being honest here, the more we grew up after we watched that show, the more we realized Uncle Ruckus was right. Let's be honest here; he was completely right on everything he said.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Black people are arguably statistically one of the worst races in America. I'm not even saying it to be racist. Statistically proven, black people are one of the worst races. Just pointing out. But, starting off with breaking the ice, because we had this joke during the meetup that I always broke the ice in a more of an unconventional way to start off a conversation.
You're an black man.
Went to a strip club. That was fun. This girl was doing some stuff to me that I didn't think girls could do, honestly. It was really great. She made me touch her. Obviously, she asked me, and I had to do it. Obviously,
she made you do it, huh?
I couldn't.
Your Honor, she made me do it.
She literally made me do it. She literally took my hands and put them around her. I was like, all right, this is new. And I was retired from women. I really was. And then I had that experience at a strip club. She was very soft, and then I ended up hugging one of the Sasuke sisters. It was Jen, because her sister wasn't there because she had to stay back to watch one of the dogs, the newest one that I got. Hugging her was very, very soft. Man, she was, oh my goodness, her chest felt like cushions. And then I hugged that Moxie Dane chick, the one with the big knockers. Man, those felt incredible, honestly. So I might have to come out of retirement, actually.
My man is folding. He is folding like a chair.
Here's your problem. If you're retired from women, you don't go to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
you're gonna get out of retirement very quickly.
Oh, good
You're
Lord.
like Brett Favre coming out of retirement for the 10th time.
Yeah, because like I haven't really felt the touch of a woman in a very long time, and I was like, you know what, this feels pretty good. I remember how this felt, honestly. Now I know that sounds mega cringe when I say it the way I do, but I do promise you guys it was way funnier in practicality versus in theory when I'm saying this to you. You know?
Hope so.
God, these girls wanted like long hugs too. They wanted to feel the touch of a man that was the Riz master, top G like myself.
I'm sure there was no pity involved. None.
That the strip club, right?
Well.
Either way.
I'm just saying though, the black girls at the strip club were acting way too pushy. I was like, bruh, nah, it's not happening. Like, I ain't into you. You can just go. Like, leave me alone. Like, the Mexican one was cool, but I was like, you know what? I'm not trying to spend $40 on her. Even though she gave me a nice massage. She was like, oh, I'm a massage therapist, my friend. I was like, all right, cool. And she started rubbing my nipples, and I was like, all right, this feels kind of interesting, you know.
And then he woke up.
Oh my God! So Bob wasn't here last week, so just to let you guys know, the usual Tuesday show I do with Laps Comic Fan, it's not going to happen tomorrow. He has a doctor's appointment. We're gonna have Laps Comic Fan as the featured guest on Wednesday's panel show, and then for that, I'll probably just game stream tomorrow for the most part. And Professor Savage Dad, he's going to be gone for 2 weeks. So we're not going to have our show for 2 weeks, but don't worry. I have some things already planned for one-on-ones to take up that, time slot for the next 2 weeks. I have Comics Division on for one-on-one Wednesday. And then for next week, I think I have someone else or whatever. I have to confirm that. But yeah, me and Lunchbox Warren should be resuming our show on Thursday after the Cloud9 podcast. And then on Friday, we have our show again. I might go see Sinners on Thursday. Everyone keeps talking about it, so I might go see it. But, supporting a black guy is really hard for me, because I don't believe they should be deserving of support. Ryan Coogler is the man that won't recast T'Challa. Like, what are you doing? Like, what is wrong with you? But it's okay. I'm glad he's doing a good. I like vampires, so I like watching vampire movies, not Twilight. Twilight movies are just unbelievable trash. Like, literally, we had the DVDs and we'd watch the behind the scenes. Man, people on that production phoned that shit in. None of the people were trying. Not a single human being on that production set were like, let's put on an actual quality performance here. They knew they were making those movies for 16-year-old girls.
And they knew that the movies were just hand over fist making money, so they didn't have to try after the first one.
I will say this: the Twilight movies had a better audience engagement for because people were literally camping outside for these movies. You didn't see that for the Disney Star Wars movies. Just saying, those movies had way more love than the Disney Star Wars trilogy does.
Just kind of a funny story about Twilight. So, when the first film came out, I was actually in San Antonio doing a medic training with the Army, and I had a weekend off, and I went, and I don't remember what I saw, but they had the trailer for the first Twilight, and the way it was marketed, it wasn't marketed like it was a love story or anything like that. I was just kind of like, oh, okay, it's a vampire movie. Yeah, this might be cool. And I called home, and my ex-wife at the time, she was like, hey, when you come home for Thanksgiving, I want to go see this movie Twilight. And I was like, yeah, I saw the trailer for that. That looks kind of cool. That should have been red flag number one, that my ex-wife wanted to see it. But I didn't think anything of it. So I get home for Thanksgiving, and we go into the theater, and red flag number two should have been that it was all women at that theater. But it still didn't, dawn on me that something was wrong. About 5-10 minutes into the movie, when Robert Pattinson comes on the screen for the first time, and every female in that audience, including my ex-wife, all went, Edward. That's when it hit me. Oh my God, what did I come to watch?
Yes.
I had no idea what it was all about.
You got roofied into, you were thinking you were seeing some vampire kind of teen action movie, and then it's just oh no, where am I? No, it's a romance movie.
From the first trailer, it looked kind of cool, and I don't even remember what movie I had saw the trailer with, but I was like, all right, yeah, it's a vampire movie. Yeah, I'll check it out.
I will say the level of love people had for movies back then, the people camping out overnight, like the Harry Potter movies had this, the Hobbit movies had this, the Twilight movies had this. A lot of really popular franchises had this, where they had this affinity with fans where they just wanted to make sure they were the first person to be there. Whatever happened to that? you don't see that anymore. People camping out for movies and just waiting to be the first in line because, just the love is just not there anymore. Even like the MCU movies didn't really have that. They had their big premieres, but people did never like camped out for them.
I think one of the things that hurt it is that you have assigned seating now, and you're buying the seats ahead of time. Before, when you didn't have assigned seating, you had to wait in line because you wanted to be able to make sure you got your tickets. Now you just get them online, and you know what seats you're going to get and everything. So yeah, it's just I think the whole experience is a lot different. Like when I went to see the Phantom Menace, we were actually talking about the prequels off screen before we got on here, and I remember people were camped out for that one because they wanted to make sure that they got their tickets, be that first one into the theater.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do intros, and we'll start with Alex, our resident other white black guy. How you doing, man? Are you alive tonight by any chance, or are you dead?
I am dead inside, but I'm pursuing other things that make me feel alive.
So, OnlyFans?
No, I'm not wasting my... Man, I could go on Twitch and pay a girl to say my name, and it would be the same experience, so...
I mean, porn is free, but I agree with that one, too.
Yeah.
I think maybe he was hoping you were running your OnlyFans.
No, I'm not that smart. No,
okay.
Sorry.
But yeah, man, I never asked you this. Do you have like a girlfriend or anything? What do you do outside of this? Besides your 3D production, stuff like that. Do you have a life? Essentially.
Jeez.
Well, the fact that she asked that question just shows that I don't.
God, we're all losers, essentially. We're all just fat, sweaty, smelly nerds, honestly. Not me. I'm a Giga Chad with all the girls, and I'm a top G, but
I'm trying to lose weight, but
You're
hard.
not fat. Liar.
I'm not. I should turn on this camera right now and take off my shirt, but I don't want to horrify you.
You didn't look fat to me. Well, debatably speaking, you are black, so that's already an L, and both of us understand that,
Mm-hmm.
But do you know what else is not an L?
What?
Definitely the Minecraft movie. That movie might be making $1 billion.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Good Lord. It's at 77. Yeah, it's 777 right now. God damn.
That's just doing a week.
Yep, that's profitable. That's you can have the green. There you go. You see, that's how you make money at the theaters, guys. You make big dollars. There you go. Not this like, hey, my movie's made for $100 million. I made $300 million. I made profit. No, that's really just not how that works. That's just not how that works. But Bob, what's going on, man? You weren't here last week because you went on a vacation to Europe.
Oh, yeah, I wish.
Yeah.
No, I was out sick last week with food poisoning, and good Lord, that was a rough weekend. And Monday, I just needed some time off to recover. In fact, I took the whole week off from YouTube, except for an episode of Dad's Turn to Talk that we did. But I didn't do any reviews or anything on my channel. I didn't go to the movies, anything. Just spent some time recovering and just working. So.
Yep. Well, it's good to have you back, man. Glad you're
feeling
better. Yeah, I don't believe you about that one. That's definitely sarcasm right there. He's like, man, I fucking hate this clout chasing fuck. But then again, yeah, it's always fun going out to Vegas. Vegas is always lively in some way. It's just there's always something to do. Unlike our city, Iron is coming out to my city. I think not this week coming up, but in a few weeks from now to go to Frankensons because that's not at my city because my city is just.
Yeah. I gotta give my account a little bit of time to recover after this week.
Yeah. So we'll go like pretty much potentially like late May, early June. That should be enough time, right? Roughly.
Oh, plenty of time. Yeah, okay. Late May, early June would be fine.
Yeah. So that is in Redlands, and that place is fun. I love going to Frankensons. Haven't been there in some years actually. Love going there and buying some comic books and stuff like that. I didn't go to Cosmic Comics this time around when we went out there, but next time.
No.
For sure, we got to go. Like everyone was already at like.
We didn't get to get Strido there. Yeah, there was just so many people and so much planning. It made it really difficult to get everything aligned perfectly, and there wasn't enough. There just aren't enough hours in the day, and that's what I told James.
Yeah, so like James was like, "Don't people have plans?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but people have to factor in when you have the meetups." people have to understand before the meetup happens, there's literally basically like, let's be honest here, more than almost an entire year of people doing like podcast and game streams together, tweets, there's Twitter groups. So they're planning this like potentially months and months in advance, like even more than we are. So when you have like this 1 week of a time frame to meet this person you are only going to see probably like once that year, you're going to probably try to squeeze in everything you can. And it's like, unless that was potentially planned way in advance, it's just not happening to go out of the way. Because like we're only going to have like a little bit of time together. Like us, I could drive to you. You're only like an hour away. That's really not that bad, honestly. Like if I literally have a day off and we want to go out there, we just go out there. But unlike me and James, other people don't have that. You know, the people have to, other people are living like multiple states away. Like Selena's sister, if Selena's sister ever came out for one of those, like she would want to spend most time with her sister the whole time because that's just what you have. You only have that amount of time. So people don't understand. It's not like we don't want to do other things. It's like, I don't want to kind of what's that word? I don't want to step on someone's toes to the point where like, if this is the only person you're going to see that you've been talking to for almost a year, I don't want to kind of like, hey, be pushing, like we should go do this. Cause I want you to have that time with that person, But then again, who wouldn't want to hang out with me? Because the Riz Master just oozes off. I love playing cornhole at Gold Spike. That was fun. It was very fun playing.
Oh, you played. Nice.
Yeah.
Who'd you play with?
I played on the smaller ones and I played on the bigger ones outside. I didn't know they had the outside. The outside look is big. It's fun out there.
Oh yeah.
Holy crap. Good Lord. The meetup should be at Gold Spike moving forward. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
No crowded, like, hey man, trying to get through. Oh God, man. No more of that. Please.
Yeah, we got their contact information. They're definitely interested. I told them what it was about and everything. It'll just be, we don't know what their fees are. So that'll just depend on what they, the organizers of the F&T meetup, being Melissa and Gary, can do, all that.
Are you guys going to go?
I think they should, or start charging people. There's a San Diego meetup.
I remember know about that. Gabe does the San Diego meetup for his birthday on the Comic-Con week, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Last year I went. It was fun. Yeah, that one's fun. Usually some of the people that don't go out to the Vegas one go out to that one. Woof, man, meeting up people is fun. Going to that bartender at that last. Oh my God, I would have made her my wife. Honestly, I don't know if I took her home to the hotel and we had some sex. Oh my God, I'd have wiped that lady up. I'm not gonna lie, I'd just wiped her up. Damn, that lady was hot. Oh my God, I want to put my whole face in her ass or something. Oh my goodness, good gosh. Hi, Michael.
See,
how you doing?
This is exactly what it is in real life, only in public around people.
That wasn't my fault. You guys made me do the racist Asian jokes.
By taking you to a hot pot, that just made you have to do them.
Their people caused a virus that murdered millions. They don't deserve respect
you said
anymore.
That very loudly.
They're on the same level as black people for me now. They're neck and neck at this point.
Oh my God, dude.
But what's crazy is that when the Vegas trip is over, you have to kind of like adjust back to real life, and there's so much stuff you have to do. There were so many basketball games I had to watch. There was so much content I was behind on. I was like, oh my God. And I had the pleasure of watching my basketball team get completely fisted in game one. Yeah, I love watching that. Yeah, good job. We have LeBum James and LeBum James Jr. Can't wait to win a ring with those fucking dirty, stinking animals. But goodness gracious, guys. Isn't guy talk just fun? This is the theme of the show, guys. Is jumping on point. So like DC All In was basically this idea that you could just have a jumping on point. This episode could be your jumping on point.
Wow. Talked about Las Vegas strip clubs and the bartender you want to stick your head in her ass.
That's probably how you get food poisoning.
Oh my God.
Oh God. Imagine she cleans herself. I would just imagine, right? Well, Bob, you're a nurse. Is it average for the person to come and clean? That's probably a no, because people are disgusting. People are legitimately terrible at hygiene. Oh gosh. But we're now essentially at what? Almost the halfway point of the year. So June's the halfway point. Yeah. We're already almost gonna be in May. Crazy. So big movies are coming out. We got Superman, Jurassic Park 7, Fantastic Four. Okay, so that's what WZ wanted me to talk about on the show. So I maybe next week or later on this week we'll cover it more fully. The whole female Silver Surfer thing. Okay, so here's another way that I saw someone on Twitter tackle it. Okay, so let's use Ghost Rider. Okay, when people think of Ghost Rider, they think of Johnny Blaze. That's like the most popular one. So if they made a Ghost Rider movie and they made like a Ghost Rider movie based off the second guy, I forgot the second guy's name because I just only know Johnny Blaze, right? Is it right for people to be angry that the Ghost Rider that they want isn't the Ghost Rider that they get? Just think about that. Literally, or I'll use another example. You go to a restaurant and you say, I want to order a steak that's well done with mashed potatoes and gravy. And that shit, and then they come back and they give you a salad. Should you just not be mad? I said, I want steak and mashed potatoes and gravy. You come back with a salad and some ranch dressing. Yeah, not the same. Not saying you can't have, salad and ranch dressing. But
and then they call you a bigot for not, liking the salad, and they insult you for saying, what, you're just a toxic male for wanting this, this food that's so bad for you. Even though now I want mashed potatoes and a steak. That sounds really
I'll
good,
even have this as an example. So remember when John Krasinski was Mr. Fantastic because the MCU fans asked for it? It's crazy how all the MCU fans weren't called racist or bigots for wanting him to be Mr. Fantastic when they downgraded from John Krasinski to Pedro Pascal. Is that racist, guys? To want a much more better fit for the character who looks like Mr. Fantastic? I noticed that wasn't called racist when you just did that. And he should look like John Krasinski because these guys are all variants. Because me and Kate out were discussing that on our one-on-one. It's like, wait, shouldn't that be John Krasinski? Because even if it's in an alternate timeline, it doesn't matter. The variants all look the same. Every variant looks the same. Wanda and her and
the same. Wanda, yeah.
So like when I'm going from John, I want it for continuity purposes. Like, why is it Pedro Pascal? He doesn't look like John Krasinski. I'm just pointing out, like,
because he's the hot ticket right now. They're putting him in everything because they are trying to elevate him to a movie star status.
Oh yeah, yep.
And sometimes they do this and it works, but a lot of time, at least over the last 20 years, it's having a negative effect. People just get tired of seeing one actor in literally everything.
Remember when they tried to put what's his name in everything? The guy who played Jake Sully from Avatar. They put him like in Terminator as well.
Yeah,
they were trying to put him in a lot of movies, and now he's not in anything except Avatar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, kind of that same thing that happened. People just got kind of sick of seeing the same dude in fucking everything. Mm-hmm. They do it with actors and actresses, and it worries me when it's somebody whose work I like. It's like, okay, they need to take it down a little bit and not be in every major blockbuster of one summer season.
Himself a lot too. The Rock even knew it, even though The Rock was in almost every movie. Even he was like, man, I got to go back to wrestling because you could tell his brain was deteriorating because he literally was the same guy in every movie. Literally, the dude he was in that what was that movie where they were fucking like the cops? Good Lord, Baywatch. He was in the Baywatch remake. There's no difference between the character he was playing in that movie versus who he was in Red Notice. No difference. That's the same dude.
He honestly hasn't really like changed his acting style or improved it ever since, people were making fun. He's still
the only movies he ever did it for was Fast 5 and Fast and Furious 6. That's the only time I saw him really trying to be someone different. And even in that, it was like he went straight back to doing the same Rock bullshit. In the later movies.
He's a superhero, basically, in a lot of the movies that he played. Or just a superhuman.
So from a comic book point of view, because I know some of you guys are comic book people, let's just look at it like this. When you think of Fantastic Four and you think of Silver Surfer and Galactus, you think of Norrin Rad. Even if you don't even know anything about the Fantastic Four, you only think of Norrin Rad, Silver Surfer. Nobody, I'm just going to be honest here, and I'll make it odd like this. I'll do it 90-10. Pretty much 99% of people did not know the female Silver Surfer existed. People said,
I didn't.
But people said she existed in the comics. First of all, let's just tackle that. No one cared. Barely. No one cared. And just keep in mind, Marvel never gave that character a dedicated run.
Somewhere.
Even if you just look on a wiki, I'll do it myself. I'll admit I have to go, hey, I got in contact by looking at wikis and reading the character profiles and reading the storylines. This character has never even had a single ongoing run, which would mean that the company never thought this character could hold an ongoing run. So like I don't give a fuck if a character's from a comic book. Do you guys know how many stupid ideas are in comic books? Let's just use 2016, for example, when they took Clark Kent's son and made him bisexual, which just means he wants to suck cock constantly.
Yep.
Did he ever go back to being straight?
Or, here's another weird one, and this is something I think Critical Drinker pointed out in one of his recent videos. The idea of like the pregnant superhero. It's like nobody wants to see that. That is some straight up like feminist super cringe right there.
Yep.
Yeah, like I don't get why the average casual says this. Oh, it existed in the comic books, as if like we're supposed to live in this monolith world where everything that exists in a comic book is a good idea. Guys, do you know that Sam Wilson became Captain America in the comic books? And color me shocked, no one liked it.
Yep.
Yeah, they actually tried doing that idea in movies, and guess what? You guys didn't like it. So I don't know where you guys got that notion, because it existed in the comics. That just automatically mean it must be good. Who told you that? So I can find that person and grab a flamethrower and torch their ass. Because this is stupid logic. That oh my god, holy shit. Like, where did you guys get that from? I truly will never understand where that comes from. The idea that just because it exists, that means that it was a loved idea, it was well received by the fans, and it was, gravy. It's like, no.
Well,
I don't know where that comes from.
I think it goes to the fact that they're wanting to push an agenda. They want to have their diversity quota met. And so that gives them the excuse to do it by saying, well, it was in the comic. It's like you said, just because it was in the comic doesn't mean that it was a good idea. Just because something's written on a page, that doesn't mean it's a good idea. If that was the case, we would adapt every single book that's out there into a movie. That's not the case. You adapt good books and you don't adapt bad ones. Mm-hmm. It should be the same thing with the comic book. You adapt good ideas and you don't adapt bad ones. That's the way it should be.
Because especially in the comic books, they tried a lot of things. It didn't work. So like what he is saying, just saying, oh, it was in the comics once doesn't mean shit.
Yeah, it doesn't mean it was a good idea then.
Are people supposed to be using that as along the line of, well, it existed, so you can't be mad? And it's like, what type of... I swear I'm dealing with the average person whose IQ is less than 1. If your brain functions off of this thinking that just because a thing exists somewhere, then that automatically means that no one had any problems with it. People weren't questioning why it exists. People didn't have ongoing discussions about it. Because keep in mind, guys, the reason why we know this is true, specifically with this character, is because every single one of you, and including myself, all looked her up because we generally forgot she existed or didn't know she existed. That's why things existing in comic books, for as bad as that idea, doesn't matter. Because keep in mind, since you had to look her up to know that she existed, proves why they shouldn't be doing it. Because they're essentially pushing a character or a version of a character that nobody knows. And then everybody is just going to ask, where's the guy version? When that movie's over and all of us are talking about it, casuals alike in their conversations, they're just going to use this line. Well, where's the male version at? They're just going to ask for Norrin Red anyway, so why not just give it to them? Why are we getting teased with this? It's an alternate reality. Why does the alternate reality not have the real Norrin Rad? They're variants. They established this in Loki. Everything's a variant.
And the thing that sucks is once a movie version of something comes out, it ends up becoming like the default version of that character. Yeah, sure. Like it's like what happened with April O'Neil. She was white for like 20 years. And then, once Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came out, it's like, oh, we'll make her black. And now every version going forward of April is black, unless you do like a revival of 87 TMNT, and it sucks. Funny enough,
unless you count the
Last Ronin, which was, based off of, one of the original creators' ideas, April is still white, and that story is beloved. And
yeah, let's use April, another character.
Yeah.
She literally wasn't black. First of all, from what I remember, is because
it was a cover from issue 2.
She had a perm, and everybody was saying that proves her character was supposed to be black because of her hairstyle. But in reality, that was the hairstyle. It was a pretty popular hairstyle during the time.
I just watched Terminator 1. Do you know how many women in that movie had perms? Nice. Yes. But it's like history only started in 2016.
Oh no, dude, hold on. Jennifer Lawrence said she was the first female girl. She was the first female action hero. Remember that? She was apparently the first female for everything.
But like Sigourney Weaver of all people. Like, she might as well have had Sigourney Weaver and like Lucy Lawless, right in that same would be like, oh yeah, I was the first female action star. They both should have bitch slapped her.
Like, what do we even think? Like the April O'Neil stuff. Also, to add to you guys' points, the character was also based off one of their girlfriends, and one of their girlfriends wasn't black. She had black in her. That's a joke.
She was
right?
mixed. She
was mixed, and the reason why the character wasn't printed in color is kind of like the same reason why the Hulk ended up green. Someone with like color ink and printing and all that shit. So she isn't black, okay? And if she's mixed, that also wouldn't mean she isn't black either. But apparently now she just is black. I just don't get it. Why are we just changing unnecessary things to appease to people? But that's what companies generally do. Now, I don't mind changes where you don't like the change, but it still doesn't impact it in the way we're thinking that's bad. That's obviously fine. But the problem here is that you have like casuals going, well, I don't care if it changes. And that's another problem right there. You're a casual. You are going to be fine with whatever they gave you anyway. Literally, that's why you're not saying it's bad to be casual. I'm casual with plenty of things. But if I don't find something bad, that's why. Like literally the company knows giving that to you, you won't care. Like you're casual. Of course, just by self-explanatory, you wouldn't care because you're a fucking nobody. But if I'm someone that's been reading the material the entire time, yeah, of course I would care because I've, God forbid, spent my hard-earned money on it. Like what the fuck? And then the people that are casual, they go, well, why do these guys care? Why do you care? You're a casual. You have no skin in the game. That's even worse for you to care. You don't even know what you're talking about.
It's like I am such a casual when it comes to Warhammer 40K. I don't know the first thing about.
I don't know shit about that loser stuff.
Like I played Space Marine 2, and that's a cool game. But I wouldn't sit here and pretend like I know Warhammer as well as I know something like Star Wars up to 2012. Yeah, like I'm just like, nope, I don't know what this is or that is, but I can tell you about the climate of Tatooine 30,000 years ago. I can tell you who the Rakata were.
You know How to Train Your Dragon? Where they race swapped Astrid with the light-skinned black girl that was in the Last of Us TV show to play Joel's daughter. People are like, well, why does it matter if they race swap Astrid? Because it's a kid's movie. What? First of all, what is the race of them? They're Scandinavian or whatever.
Something like
they're
that.
They're Russian Vikings. Yeah, they're what? God forbid, guys, there weren't a lot of black Vikings for what I remember. And keep in mind, also, if a creator says that character looks the way it does, then the creator decides if the character looks the way it does. Or unless they literally get approval from the actual creator, that's an okay thing, then I'll take that. If the creator goes, I liked it this way, I think the person gets to say what they like. Like Akira Toriyama, use Dragon Ball Z, for example. Akira Toriyama didn't create the Broly that we all know. He didn't create Super Saiyan 4. He didn't create a lot of those movie characters, but he liked them enough. And he gave them permission to say, I like these. Okay, so if that happens, that's cool. Okay, so if you're a creator and you work your entire life to make it big in Hollywood, and you want your characters to look like this based off a history that you really, really like, swapping it out is just disrespectful. Like, do they not value what you created? Come on, How to Train Your Dragon is fine the way it is. Literally, you just make it like the movies. The kids are like, oh my God, mommy, take me to see How to Train Your Dragon. Yeah, they're going to be like, mommy, why is Astrid black? They won't notice it when they're younger. When they get older and rewatch that movie, they're going to go, wait, why did she change? Keep in mind, these things are just stupid. Race swaps are stupid. They make no sense, really.
Can you highlight Orange Avengers comment?
No, he's a cloud chaser. I'm just kidding.
Just like this bullcrap right here. They did that in Doctor Who with Peter Capaldi. They did that crap like, I didn't know Europe had all these black people. It's like, oh yeah, and so was Jesus. And like the BBC even had some weird like commie kind of like reimagining sort of directive. It's like, well, if we can't make the past like how it should be, we can imagine it that way. And so, that's when you would see stuff like that. It's like, wow, all of these black people are around here in like 16th or like 19th century Britain. It's like, you sure about that? Yeah, maybe there were some, who were taken away from, slavery and all of that, but it ain't like how it is in London right now.
Also, it's crazy in in Europe, they can put you in jail for tweets because that's definitely a good thing to do. Making sure you silence your own people. But Walter says, what are we bitching about tonight? Literally everything. Everything. Everything.
Yeah.
But no, like I'm not saying that gender swapping or putting the female version of Silver Surfer will impact Fantastic Four's, movie performance. I'm just saying the idea is stupid. Is it going to make the movie worse or bad? I don't know. I have to see the final product. But generally speaking, whenever they race swap or gender swap something, I don't think it either enhances nor dehances the movie. I just think it was just stupid, because if it didn't enhance the movie nor dehance it, why is it changed? But then again, I'm just looking forward to Superman. I think that's going to be a pretty good movie overall. I think.
Real quick, MSK, just to highlight a comment that Walter made in the chat about how parents are the only ones that give a damn about the race swaps. He's got a point, because kids aren't really going to notice that stuff. As a parent, for me personally, what bothers me about it isn't necessarily the race swap. It's the intent behind the race swap. It's the intent to try to meet a quota at the expense of good storytelling, where the focus becomes the quota and not good storytelling. That's what gets to me a lot of times, because look at, say, for example, the movie Eternals. That when they were promoting that movie, the only thing anybody could say positive about that movie was, well, we have a diverse cast, and we've got this about the cast, and people are going to be able to see themselves. Not at one point during any of the promotion did anybody come out and say, you know what, this movie is going to enhance the MCU by taking the story in this direction. And so because of that, it's the intent behind it that bothers people like me. It's not necessarily the actual swap itself, because there are a few swaps that haven't bothered me over the years. For example, Lawrence Fishburne is Perry White in Man of Steel. I was fine with that one. There's been a few here and there that haven't bothered me, but generally as a whole, what bothers me is the intent behind it to meet a quota, as opposed to focusing on good storytelling and good writing.
It used to be back in the day when there was like a race swap for someone. It was like, that was a really good actor for that particular character. Like Billy D. Williams is Harvey Dent. He's kind of like a minor role in Batman 89, but still. Another one was Michael Clark Duncan as the Kingpin in Daredevil 2003. Yeah, that was he was a good actor, and he was believable in that role because he really was a big dude. I think he even made a comment during the making of that movie. He's like, I just got done filming The Scorpion King with The Rock, so now I got to fight Ben Affleck. I was like, I don't want to break Ben. Because, you go from fighting Dwayne The Rock Johnson to, and Ben Affleck's not a small guy. He's like 6'4". So he's still pretty, but, just not as much muscle mass.
Walter said, I don't get the issue with the female Silver Surfer, especially if this ends up being in an alternate universe. But that's an either or thing. Why not just use the better version? It's the same thing I said earlier. I want the best version of that character, and the best version of that character is Norrin Rad. Why? Keep in mind, not a single one of us give a flying fuck about that version of the character. We all want Norrin Rad. So why are we getting her? And keep in mind, we're the ones paying the tickets.
Here's a point regarding that, because the idea is, okay, well, what's the point problem with using the female Silver Surfer? Because we can always use the male one later. But they're going to carry this group of Fantastic Four into the current MCU universe. Even though they're in an alternate universe, they're going to bring them over into the main MCU. So why not just use the male Silver Surfer, the main one that we all know, and bring him over as well?
And why not gender swap Mr. Fantastic? Why not have him be Mrs. Fantastic? Why not just make all of these kinds of changes? You still call it the Fantastic Four, but just make this change and that change until it resembles nothing at all. There is a crappy intention behind all of it.
And that's what it is for me. The problem is it's the intent.
Let's make a Dragon Ball Z movie. And keep in mind, Goku, let's cast Betty White. Because it doesn't matter.
That. I'd watch the hell out of that.
Now you're just starting to fuck with me. Good lord.
No, I would. I mean, I would make fun of it. Like, I would make fun of that in the same way I would watch Sonic with the original design that they had for that movie. I would watch it just for the train wreck.
Let's cast Vegeta and let's use Ryan Reynolds. Pretty sure we'd all be like, wow, this is a clown show. Because it doesn't matter, right? If nothing matters about accuracy, well, I mean, I guess let's just start opening Pandora's box. Let's have Blake Lively play Frieza.
Yeah.
Let's do a remake.
Doesn't matter, obviously,
Let's do a remake of the 10 Commandments and have Moses played by a woman.
Doesn't change anything,
they're already having Jesus played by
I know. Oh, by Cynthia Erivo. Oh my god, that is. I honestly want to see that trash fire. I want to see that just to make fun of it.
Yeah. So this is the thing. People know. Well, the casuals know now that she's a wife of Norman Rad. Keep in mind, no one bothered to know that before this movie existed. They just thought we'd be given Norman Rad, because why would anyone really, if you're a casual, care about his wife? You probably don't even know he had a wife. You probably just wanted to Silver Surf her, the dude that exists.
It is the same thing with Susan Storm in Marvel Rivals. Before that character was put into Marvel Rivals and given all of the good looks that she has, no one gave two shits about Susan Storm. All of a sudden, she's in this really popular game. She looks like $1 million, and you see people playing as her. They're drawing her. They're cosplaying as her. But before that, the filthy casuals, they didn't give two craps about her. So it's just one of those things where it's like you're kind of like the prisoner of the moment, and you just go along with what's there, what's right there in front of your face. And we're just asking for more than that. We're asking for substance. And all we're getting right now is just these shallow, things that honestly just they degrade these characters when they do things like that.
It's like, why do I want a hand-me-down version of a character?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why do I want that? Why can't I just have the best version of them? Essentially. Now, if they do end up making her an awesome character in the movie that fits the narrative and she does a great job, that's fine. But that's something you have to like the idea. I think the idea is still stupid, because people are gonna go well, what if the movie's good? First of all, that's a subjective thing, and given Marvel's quality recently, that's also up in the air too. So those are two humongous red flags. And I mean, am I supposed to believe they can make a compelling character anymore? What's the last compelling character they've had in these movies? John Walker from John Walker's the last one they probably did, and Falcon and Soldier, maybe
that might be it.
What compelling character has Marvel made in the last Phase 4 and 5 that we would even care about? They haven't proven they can do any of this stuff. I love how they're just given the benefit of the doubt for shit they haven't been doing recently. Yeah, I'd love to make a good version of her. Based off what? Based off what track record they're going to do that? They can keep in mind the biggest narrative for the MCU before, even when they were in their prime, was that they couldn't make good villains. Keep in mind the villains they've always had have been pretty bad outside of insert Thanos and Killmonger and whoever there, right? They've always had a bad villain problem. I'm supposed to believe they can make a lesser known character somehow a good character in a movie where they haven't been making any decent movies recently. I press X to doubt on that one, buddies. It used to be that they would take these B and C list Marvel characters and turn them into household names because they put good effort into the scripts and the storylines and just everything. Now it's just, this character, she's Muslim. This character, well, he's white, so he has to be evil. And it's such low effort storytelling, and there's no reason to give Disney, Marvel any benefit of the doubt. They have to earn our trust back. What was the last movie they did it for? The last movie they did it for technically was No Way Home, but keep in mind the actors they hired, when have you known William Dafoe to run it down? He's never did that. I knew he was going to give Alfred Molina, great performance. That movie, you got those performances because those are actors that care about making themselves still look good, even in a product like that. No Way Home was a fine movie outside of its conventional bullshit issues. It was a fine MCU movie. But outside of think of any movie you've watched since, I guess, what ends Phase 3? Far From Home ends Phase 3. And then, oh my God. Yeah. Jake Gyllenhaal, Mysterio was fine. So outside of him, what's the last good villain they made? I guess you could say Willem Dafoe, Green Goblin, but that wasn't theirs.
That was
no, he already pre-existed. So you got to think of one that they put in a newer movie. I can't even name them.
No.
Yeah.
Who have they used?
Are they going to do Galactus any justice? I mean, yeah.
Wait. I've got one. Okay. Taskmaster.
All
right.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
My Pearl Taskmaster. Yay.
Were subverted with that one. That one was
one of my friends' favorite characters is Taskmaster, and he was so pissed off when that helmet came off, and I was like, it's gonna be a woman. It's gonna be a woman. It's a woman. Yeah. That was my response, but his response was just pure, you gotta be kidding me. And yeah.
Oh yeah, another compelling part is when our Captain America is sympathizing with terrorists.
Yeah, right.
And I liked Falcon Winter Soldier. I thought it was one of the better shows they made, and the most part was because of that Bucky storyline they had. But goddamn, our Captain America is sympathizing with terrorists. Also, there was Thor: Love and Thunder. Do you remember how badly they treated Gore?
Yeah, and you had a perfect actor with Christian Bale.
He always puts it 100%. He always gives his best, and he could make that work. Like Multiverse of Madness,
he tried.
Wanda was
and she defeated herself because no man could dare defeat her.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
You have Namor.
And that sucks. Namor is one of my favorite characters, and they just murdered the backstory, everything on the altar of DEI and whatnot.
Yeah. And it's Namor. It's what's her name who changed his name to be Namor. It's Namor, god dang it.
Alessandro or whatever her name is.
I'm just saying, I'm not saying the Task Force is gonna be a bad movie, but what I'm saying is I don't have faith in them to give me a somewhat competent movie. All I'm asking for, if I got a movie that was on a level I think that they were fine on, you would have to give me something like 2016 Doctor Strange and Ant-Man. That would be a fine level to have. That's a good level, but those are fine MCU movies. They haven't been doing fine in forever. Like you have Deadpool Wolverine, that was fine. That was a fun movie. You have No Way Home, fun movie, fine, whatever. Guardians 3, I didn't see that one, but people said it was good. I liked
Guardians 3.
I like Guardians 3, but again, that's James Gunn, doing his thing. And that's why I'm optimistic about Superman.
Thunderbolts is coming up. Oh, let's just run down this Thunderbolts team. Let me just make sure I look it up first, so that we can get this great Marvelness that they're known for still recently, because they're just living off past narratives now. All right, so here's the Thunderbolts team. All right, let's just run this down. I don't even care if we use Wikipedia because the plot's not here yet. Fuck this. Holy shit. Here's the team we have for characters that Marvel sure has built up and we sure do care for. All right, so you got Yelena. All right. Florence Pugh's pretty fun. I'll give Yelena a pass. She's a fun actor. Okay, we have Bucky Barnes. We like him. We like Winter Soldier. Okay. U.S. Agent. Cool. You got 3 there. Okay. All white people, but good. Awesome. Taskmaster. Trash. This was going to be Stephen Young.
Yeah.
Just let that sink in. That was going to be Stephen Young. I don't know how he's going to be. That's not part of the group. Red Guardian. Any of you guys care about that guy? Outside of him just doing funny shit?
Okay, I'll watch him do funny shit, because if this movie's gonna be kind of like dumb fun, then okay. But it's hard to know with these trailers if it's gonna be dumb fun or if they're trying to be serious with it, because they'll make a trailer that makes it look like it's dumb fun, and then they'll come out saying this is the A24 film of Marvel.
So right. Yeah. This is the they'll say #1 movie in America as this movie's literally flopping in front of our eyes. Ghost. Oh yeah, Ghost, who was the villain in that terrible Ant-Man sequel movie. That Ant-Man and the Wasp movie is horrible. Ghost. Yeah, sure care about that character. Valentina. What was she, just basically Nick Fury, but a woman essentially?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, Thunderbolts does look pretty fun. This is the one that I was kind of looking forward to the most. I'll just Marvel at this point just surprised me. I'm going in expectations to the literal floor. It can't get worse than that. There's no floor after this. My floor is down on the ground. You'd be licking the concrete as far as my floor is.
It might be good between the two of them. That one looks like just a fun, enjoyable movie. Fantastic Four. I feel like they're trying to sell me something that I want, but they're not giving it to me the right way. We've already discussed why.
Eat the salad, bigot.
Exactly. Eat the fucking salad.
Yeah, yeah. That's also part of the analogy that I forgot to get to. And then when you get your salad, you're forced to eat your salad when you wanted steak. Yeah, how about no? How about
what they're doing is they're giving you the salad with little slices of steak on it, just to tease you.
Just to piss you off even more.
Because almost everybody has said, okay, I like the vibe of the Fantastic Four trailer, kind of like the futuristic look, kind of like this. And then all of a sudden you see other stuff in the trailer. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, this really is a salad. This isn't steak after all. It doesn't matter how many pieces of steak
I just want my steak and mashed potatoes and gravy, damn it. God damn. Marvel can only get my money with an Avengers movie at this point. Yeah, like, I'll say this. I think the Avengers movies are going to do good just based off the name alone. It's a name that is familiar to a lot of people who get them in. But these Avengers movies coming up do not have the same level of kind of like hype and anticipation like the previous ones did. I mean, god damn, Age of Ultron had more hype than whatever Doomsday is going to run into. That's Age of Ultron, which is considered like the worst one of all of them, essentially.
Well, Age of Ultron had the benefit of coming off the heels of the Winter Soldier. So it was already going to have some hype because of that. And, of course, because the first Avengers did so well.
God, I still remember being in that movie theater and that spinning shot of seeing, the Avengers there in the middle of the city and the Hulk roaring. That got such a huge applause.
You remember when the first trailer dropped when there was a song I Have No Strings on Me? Oh man, that hit so hard. I was like, damn, we're about to get back into it again.
Yeah,
damn, man.
Yeah.
Oh crap. Like I remember when the Avengers dropped. I mean, I always say this. Iron Man kind of started the MCU, but Avengers really put MCU on where it's at right now.
And it cemented it. Yeah.
Yeah,
because
man.
You didn't really know because with like Captain America, the first Avenger, it didn't. It was okay, but it wasn't like super successful. Iron Man was. It made like $800 million, and then it got beat out by like The Dark Knight because that was 2008. And then you get like the Incredible Hulk, and then that did slightly better than Ang Lee's Hulk movie. And then you get like Thor, which also did kind of good numbers. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it really wasn't until Avengers 1 that the MCU got cemented as what it was.
You remember how much money it made? At that moment in time, it was the fastest movie to take in $1 billion. Shit.
Yeah.
God
it was
damn.
Breaking
all I kept hearing was that it kept making more money every day.
Yeah.
Good Lord, man. If Iron Man failed, we wouldn't have an MCU. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I've literally been here since the beginning. And when people say, oh, yeah, it's going to get better. Better to what? We already were through the best times. Remember that Michael Jordan meme of like, I used to pray for times like these? We were in those times. Those times don't exist anymore.
We're it ended with Endgame. Yeah.
They really did with that title. That title, Endgame. Oh, God. We didn't know.
I told my friend after Endgame, I said, it doesn't matter what Marvel does from here on out. I mean, I'll watch it because it's still a Marvel movie, but I feel like I've seen it all already. I feel like I've seen the whole story. So if they never made another Marvel movie after Endgame, I would have been fine because I feel like I had seen the complete story.
Yeah, now, MCU would have gone out on top, and it just would have been like, this is one of the best franchises. It is one of the best franchises in the history of movie making, at least up until Endgame, anyway. And that would have been it. Yeah, they really should have stopped there and just let it rest for 5 years. Imagine that was it. Like you let Avengers at rest with Endgame. You come back, after COVID and all of that, and it's like, all right, now we're starting the MCU up again in 2025. People would have been hyped as hell.
Yeah, it would have.
Comics too,
Maybe they would have actually had a decent plan because. With phase 4, what it should have been is similar to phase 1. It should have been a building.
Yeah,
and instead they literally just threw stuff at the wall, seeing what stuck. And they had this loose idea that, okay, well, yeah, we want to do the multiverse and we want to do Kang. But the way it was rolled out, you could tell it wasn't really thought out very well.
Yeah, they really had no plans after Endgame. Because remember, people were so sad that Spider-Man died in Infinity War, only for Far From Home's trailer to drop a week after Endgame's. You're right, Far From Home's trailer dropped a week after Endgame's. They're like, oh, well, thank you for showing these movies to have consequences. But to be fair, we all knew they're going to come back, but it's like, you got to let those things kind of marinate a little bit, you know?
See, in Endgame, not Endgame, No Way Home would have actually probably been the best way to introduce the multiverse.
Yeah, if
you instead of the way that it was done with Loki and some of this other stuff, introduce it with Spider-Man. And you have all these other characters from another universe, and these other Spider-Men show up, and you have Doctor Strange trying to hold the universe or the multiverse together. I think that would have been a good way to introduce that there's a multiverse out there.
Mm-hmm.
Ultra says there's a lot of meh in the faces. No. I've always said there's a lot of meh in there, but it feels like a lot of people. I mean, to be fair, whatever MCU movies you feel like were meh in the first 3 phases, someone else thinks were very good. At least there was a sentiment that I might not like this one, but you do, and there's this common ground of like moving forward. Now it's like we just don't like this at all. There's not even like a hey, I like this, and maybe you don't. We both just dislike this for what it is now. This is like a corpse. Do people go see Brave New World? Because remember how that movie was billed off of, it's going to be like Winter Soldier Light. Yeah, that's just not true at all.
Remember the days when Thor the Dark World was the worst MCU film?
It still is, but it's not the worst. Because Eternals was like, hold my beer, I will be the worst movie. And then Thor Love and Thunder came out after. I was like, well, no, we're for, this is for sure the worst one. God, Thor. What they do with the Thor movies, man. The first one really, I feel like Kenneth Branagh really captured what Thor was in that first movie. The whole mythology behind it and everything. So the Dark World is just not good. Ragnarok, it's funny, but it's not really Thor. Like Ragnarok only was that way because the fans said Thor was boring. So they hired Taika Waititi, or Taika got big titties to do Thor. And he made Thor this joke. He made Thor. So it basically went from he's boring to he's just only a joke. And it's like, I got why they did it because the fans thought it was boring, but it was like, well, okay, now you just expect him to just be a joke now. The Russo brothers kind of reel him back in a little bit. The Russo brothers, I think, failed with Thor in Endgame when they made him Fat Thor. That was just stupid.
I hated that.
They redeemed him in Infinity War.
Yes.
And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then they don't have him kill Thanos. Like, what are we doing here? And then he's Fat Thor. Oh, okay. This character's just doomed to fail at this point. Like, even they don't know what the fuck to do with this guy. Like,
how many times can a guy find himself? Don't answer that question.
Oh, God, man. I will say this. I did like the first Ant-Man movie. I thought that was super underrated for the first MCU. I liked the first Doctor Strange movie. What else is there? There's a lot of decent in there. It's just, there's some trash, but that's to be expected. Oh, but Iron has to dip out a little bit here.
Yeah. I got to go get back over on Vaughn's stream and clear some air. Some things are being said over there about Vegas, and I just want to make sure I fucking.
Oh dear.
Cover
so it didn't stay in Vegas.
Yeah, no, don't believe that shit. Especially when you're out with this group of friends and stories get escalated. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He's gonna know after Wednesday, dude. That's when we're really gonna go. So I hope you're free that night. What time's your show on Wednesday?
We record at where I'm at. I'm on Mountain Time about 9:30. Mm-hmm. So, what time do you guys go on?
5:35 p.m. Pacific.
He's just an hour ahead. So.
Yeah, dude. But yeah, so I'm gonna bounce. But MSK is great seeing you again.
Yeah. Anytime. Anything you want to basically plug beside my wife before you leave?
There's always that. Just go follow me on X and sub to the channel Iron Oxide. We have the Rogues Gallery on Wednesdays and Fridays now. Got a really, really fun show over there, and we're going to do a lot more of the Vegas recap this week, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Hell yeah. I'll be in the chat when I can, because after I get off work, I'm tired. I'm out.
Oh, I know, dude.
I might not.
Bob, great seeing you again. Alex,
great seeing you, Iron.
Yeah, nice meeting you.
Don't let Iron.
Yeah, hit me up on X, dude.
Yeah. Oh God! Don't let this man cloud chase you guys.
I love when he does it.
God, man, he's coming here to try to get the guest. Trying to reel him over.
See you later.
See ya.
Sorry, man. Have a good day, dude. Yeah, I'm gonna try and go see Sinners, but if not, I'll wait till it drops digitally. But I will say this: a movie will only be staying in theaters if it does well. Like, it's got to do well in the first 2 weeks. If you don't see the number consistently going up, they're taking it out. Hopefully, they don't take Sinners out with 2 weeks. Because, come on, if the companies that make the movies don't value the theatrical experience, I don't really think I should either,
Mm-hmm.
But, well, we're just, two black guys and a Mexican. That's how it works around here.
Sounds like the beginning of a joke.
It's crazy. Fantastic Four begins phase 6. So we might be 3 for 3 with these phases being bad. That's crazy. Like, the first 3 phases people like, the next 3 are trash. So the trajectory would be the next other 3 phases being better. That's how it works, right?
But what's sad though is when you look at the earlier phases, phase 1 built into phase 2, phase 2 built into phase 3. In this one, phase 4 didn't build into phase 5.
The thing
really hasn't built into phase 6.
Yeah, every phase had an Avengers movie that, kind of bookended it and then launched you into the next phase. And we haven't had that with these phases. It's just we've had, okay, well, this movie happened. I guess that's the end of that phase. It's kind of like what the hell just happened? That's it? So, yeah, they've really just not had any plans going forward.
And you hit it right on the head, is that the Avengers movies did bookend those because each phase built up to that Avengers movie, and then based on how the storyline went in that helped lead into where they were going, or where those characters would go in their movies when you came into the next phase.
Mm-hmm.
What can I say?
Goodness gracious. Oh, well, that's the joke right there. No one cares. No one cares if it exists in theaters. No one went to go see it. We're like, all right, everyone knew that was gonna bomb though. Like, that's the thing that it said in comics as well. When that's announced, that's canceled. That movie bombed the moment it was announced because no one cared. Like, none of those live action remakes from Disney are talked about good. They have horrible word of mouth. The fact that they would even make more of them is ridiculous. It's like when people were surprised the Marvels ended up performing as bad as it did. Well, that should be expected. I want you guys to really think about this. On average, when we talk about Captain Marvel, when is that movie ever discussed in a good light? Just ever. That's probably that is an MCU movie with probably the worst word of mouth, even worse than the other MCU movies that are just as bad as it.
It's only talked about by people who are fully into the ideology that this is a good female character. Outside of that, you have people with actual good taste. That even then they'll just say it was okay. But otherwise, no one really says Captain Marvel is like a good or even great MCU movie, or just a movie in general.
Well, the problem is that they convince themselves.
Yeah,
the idea that the people that are criticizing these films in social media, that they are just a loud minority, and that's what they want to convince themselves of. And they're like, yeah, well, Captain Marvel made over $1 billion, and they completely ignore the fact that it was sandwiched between 2 of the biggest films in cinematic history, and that it fed off of that. And they led you to believe that Captain Marvel was going to be very important to Endgame, so you needed to go watch that movie.
Yeah.
And then years later, when Captain Marvel didn't have the benefit of being released in a time period of the MCU when it's at its peak. Come on, that movie came out when the MCU was toward the end of its peak. When its peak was over, you had the caveat of being between the Avengers movies. So you remove the Avengers movies aspect, you remove the hype of the MCU not being there for it. I fully was not surprised it failed that badly because nobody likes Captain Marvel. Why would people go watch the sequel? That is one of the worst MCU movies and the one with the worst word of mouth. And people realize
that the other two characters were off of the Marvel TV show that you had to watch, and not everybody watched those. No offense to I can't remember the name of the actress who played
Ms. Marvel, right?
Or the one who played
Melanie. Yeah.
I think she's actually a fine actress, and she gave it her best I think she just got unlucky that she was in a TV show that not a lot of people watched, and then she got put into the movie
Disney did
that nobody cared about.
Miss Marvel came out in the same week that Obi-Wan was dropping, and Obi-Wan Kenobi, I think season 1 was already at episode 4. It's like, why?
People yeah, like, it hurt.
This is lower rated. It's like, well, that's expected. Like, what?
Yeah.
These aren't surprising things. What?
Yeah, it hurt it hurt the Marvels or Ms. Marvel's actual numbers by having it come out around the same time as Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I'm not saying that it would have done great numbers, because we've seen the numbers for these television or these streaming shows that are on Disney Plus. It's not like they're pulling in huge numbers, but it would have been better had they not released it around the same time as Obi-Wan. And so, yeah, I feel sorry for the actress, but yeah, she got, stuck between a rock and a hard place, being stuck in a TV show that nobody was going to watch, and then put in a movie that nobody cared about because nobody liked the first one.
Because you know what I will say for the MCU, the TV shows really soured people on their product. Like, the idea behind the TV shows was that essentially at the time you would get more of the MCU, which is not a bad thing, because that's the time it peaked. Everyone's like, man, I love this. I want more of this. So they made TV shows to give you characters that really shouldn't have justified movies. Well, you can have them in a TV show, longer format. You can kind of build them up in a different way for characters that can be more TV format. And then all that ruined their product. Those bad TV shows in a row, I swear, killed people's interest in the whole thing. Those TV shows are legitimately bad, awful, horrible.
Remember when Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was still part of the MCU?
I was there when that show first premiered.
I was there too, yeah.
Yeah.
And I liked the first season. Beyond that,
I only got to this 6th episode. I thought it was horrible.
Yeah, I dipped out after, I think, episode 3 or something. It's basically when they were like, Sky, you're part of our family now. I'm like, whoa, hold on. I don't think we've earned that kind of moment yet with any of these characters. It's like you gotta kind of build up to that.
I stuck around a lot longer. I watched all the way up until the very last season, and I did not watch the last season because by then I was just watching it more out of, there's not much else on for me to watch. And at that point, when it got to the last season, I was out of it.
I'm trying to sound like some DC fanboy, but I will say this: The Flash season 1 is better than anything they've made on that Disney Plus MCU front. Just The Flash season 1.
I think Arrow season 1, season 2, and The Flash season 1 are all some of the best superhero TV shows.
Yeah, people should go back and rewatch Flash season 1. I mean, I know Iris is race swapping. Don't get me wrong. No one likes her anyway, so you don't have to worry about that. She's not liked by anybody.
Yeah.
That season 1 of that Flash show is so damn fucking good. I'll rewatch that like every year because it just, that just hits so hard. And it was so weird because you weren't expecting it. It was so unexpected that the Flash, a character that hadn't been given really anything outside of like animation appearances, to hold a TV show, especially season 1, for it to come out as good as it came out was just, what a piece of cinema that was. Good Lord.
It's like, go ahead. Sorry.
You're fine.
I was going to say, it's like back then, people didn't associate the CW with crap. That only happened as it just went further, and it's like, how low can it go? And then we got to Batwoman, and I think what helped
the Arrowverse is that Arrow came out not too long after Smallville ended. And people still had a good taste in their mouth from Smallville.
Yeah, I liked Smallville, even though I like that 4th season was kind of crap. With turning Lana into a witch.
Season 8, man. Season 8 was so bad. That was boring. That Doomsday.
That's you know what? The Doomsday one was not my least favorite season. Season 3 was, I thought, the weakest for me.
Oh, man, every single time I rewatch Smallville, I always skip season 8. Season 8 is so bad, man. Ugh, God, I'll never watch season 8 again. Season 9 picks up a lot. I really like who they hired. Callium Bloom as Zod was really well casted.
Yes.
Yeah. Good Lord. Who else was there? Because that's the thing with CW, their really good shows were really good, but their really bad ones were, God, man. I know people said Black Lightning was good. I just never was really into that character, so I never watched it, but apparently people said it was very, very good, at least for the first season. That was the narrative of their shows. The first 2 seasons, fantastic. Everything after that, horrible. I was like,
that was pretty true with a lot of their shows. I watched pretty much all of them just because they were all linked together. I was watching them all, even Supergirl, which I thought was garbage. I was still watching because it was linked with the other shows. Where I decked out was or dropped out was the Crisis on Infinite Earths. I hated what they did with Superman and Kevin Conroy's Batman and Tom Welling's
they had him give up his
all
powers.
of that. It just ruined it for me. I checked out of all of them after that. Truth is, I did not want to give I didn't even want to give Superman and Lois a chance because it was the same actors from the Arrowverse. And then I really liked Superman and Lois. I really liked that show. It wasn't perfect, no, but I thought some of the stuff that they did with making him a family man and stuff like that, I thought was kind of cool.
Superman and Lois. That was very, very good. I never finished the show. I watched the first 2 seasons. Very, 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 very good show. Like, I had no hope for it. I really didn't. And then I saw the trailer for the first episode, and they had the nice little killer. It's one of these killer oldie songs they were playing. I was like, okay, looks like they kind of understand what Superman is. And I was, oh man, that part. Remember how he drops in with that classic 80s suit, and the kid's like, I like your suit. It's like my mom made it.
Yes, the Fleischer suit from the 1940s.
Love it. Yeah, love it.
That's great. And it came on the heels of the super dark and grim, like Henry Cavill, Zack Snyder Superman. So it was such a breath of fresh air at the time.
Yeah. I think in season 2, the ending of the season drags on a little bit, but I feel like season 2, man, that's one of the best episodes. That Bizarro episode where they were flipped. Oh my God, that was so good. Damn, that show was cooking with some gas. But I watched the Crisis on Infinite Earths special. I think the best part of it was the part where the Flashes met.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
I didn't know they casted John Cryer as Lex Luthor. If anyone knows what about John Cryer playing Alan from 2.5 Men, that is kind of like a picture perfect Lex Luthor casting. I'll say, if you know who John Cryer is, like they casted John Cryer as Lex Luthor, it's pretty good casting right there. But then you're using Supergirl, so it's going to be wasted. Like there was some good in that crossover, but it's like I didn't care for it. There was nothing there at that point. I was only there to see the Flash, and after that, you had the Flash season 7. Oh my God, that was terrible.
I do think it's ironic that he ends up playing Lex Luthor years after he had played, Lenny Luthor in Superman 4.
Yeah,
I just thought that was kind of ironic.
It's so weird how Alan was a conniving, skeeving, fucking small-headed weirdo, and he's Lex Luthor. I'm like, makes sense. I'll say my favorite Lex Luthor is always going to be Michael Rosenbaum.
Yeah, he's the best live-action Lex Luthor. Sean brings up a really good point here. Best part of Crisis is when John Wesley Shipp suited up as the 1990s.
He did do that. That was cool. That was very cool. Yeah. I mean, anything else after the Flash? Like I remember back in the Flash season 1 when Barry found out that Reverse Flash was, not Dr. Wells, and he had killed him, and he was Eobard Thawne or whatever. And then he was like, I just learned a hard way not to trust the bad guys. And then Ronnie comes out as Firestorm. Then Arrow pops out, and they're fighting him. Just so much magic in season 1. And then you could tell Grant Gustin didn't want to do the show after season 8, because season 8, you started hearing rumors that he wants to quit. Season 9, they have a reduced contract, like a big contract, but a reduced episode count. Because he had been playing the Flash for like 10 years, and people factor in, I don't doubt that actors like playing the character, but the average person must understand this though. You suit up as a character every day. You film for God, who knows, more than 12 hours a day.
Hours, yeah.
Weeks after weeks, you get the holidays off, you get the little special breaks off, but you're on set constantly, lines and wire work and dialogue and trailers and all that stuff. Guys, at a single point, maybe that shit probably lost the luster for him maybe after like the 4th year.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, there's no way you love it. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
you get tired of something.
You like it. Yeah, there's no way you like it the same way you liked it when you first started. That's the reason why RDJ didn't want to play Iron Man anymore. Because he doesn't like playing Iron Man. It's just, man's did that shit since 2007.
Yeah.
He's probably just tired. Motherfucker needs a break.
Just me personally, like I have been live streaming like video games since 2018. So it's like been 7 years now. And it's just like, that's one of the reasons why like I'm doing different stuff now. Like I'm trying to like learn to be more productive with my time and actually, learn new skills and things like that. Is far more interesting to me than like play. Well, and look, I still love video games. It's just that's just not how I always want to like spend my time, each and every week, like doing that. There's other things I want to do with my time.
Wait a minute. You want to do other things with your time besides?
I know, right?
Fucking loser.
Blasphemy.
A black guy wanted to do something with his life beside like shoot people up and be on EBT. Crazy.
Oh man. There goes my dream life.
And then, well, James Gunn has merged the DCU into one universe. So there's no more like those animated movies you guys are looking forward to every single year. Yeah, they're gone. Yeah, everything's a part of the DCU now. That's it. The era is over. But at least we ended off with Kevin Conroy saying he was Batman in Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 3. That was a very nice send-off for the character. It started with BTASS. It ended with BTASS. That's all it should be. Exactly. I'm not crying. You're crying.
Yeah, it's like how Justice League Unlimited ended with that episode. Well, I mean, that was like season 2, but still, it's like it went into like the future with Batman Beyond, and Kevin Conroy's Batman was still around. That was a great episode.
Well, yeah, we're gonna wrap it up here in a little second here. Have to go get some stuff done. I am pretty behind after the Vegas meetup. I had sex with a lot of girls, unloaded in them, left them really quickly, just like my dad. Can't stay with those girls. You have to leave instantly. You can't even let them know you were gone. So you just pounded, left.
I don't think they knew you were there to begin with.
Yep.
Damn.
It's like, what the hell? What just happened?
Hey, a black guy. Oh, it's like the episode of Family Guy where Stewie wakes up and Jerome's there and he's like, are we getting robbed? Trap, what you got planned coming up, man?
Just more learning stuff, but this Sunday I am celebrating my channel's 9th anniversary, so that's going to be a 12-hour stream. I know I just said I don't want to live stream games anymore, and it's going to be 12 hours of me playing games, so I'm a hypocrite. Yep. So yeah, that's going to be Sunday, starting at 10 a.m. Pacific time, and I'm really looking forward to that. I will probably play like fighting games, a little bit of Sonic Shadow Generations, and ending it off with Jackbox. So that's what I'm looking forward to doing. Oh, and I'm an idiot. And Sean and I are going to do our next podcast of comics and culture. So looking forward to that.
Sean, just to hit me up if you want to do a one-on-one. Haven't got a chance to talk to you in a while, but that'll be a good thing to talk to you, because, Trap's here and he's black, and I can only relate to this guy so much. I more relate to the white peoples,
Skin, but not kin.
Oh, God. Bob, what you got planned coming up, man?
Well, I'm hoping on my main channel at Bob Loves Movies to review The Accountant 2. I actually took a week off because of the Easter holiday, and I was sick last week, so took some time off to just kind of relax and catch up. But hope to review The Accountant 2, possibly even that new Netflix movie that's coming out with Tom Hardy, Havoc. Possibly that one. Well, I'm still not sure about that. And then over on Dad's Turn to Talk, not exactly sure what we're going to talk about this week. Last week we did a WrestleMania preview because all of us are wrestling fans, and
nice.
one of my co-hosts, he actually was in Vegas this weekend for WrestleMania, so I'm sure he's going to want to talk about that this week and what his experience was like. So other than that, that's pretty much all I got planned.
Yep. As for me, I'm going to basically, work on getting content uploaded for this channel and my comic book one. I'm still in the process of getting the final pieces of what I want to make in my intro video for my Yu-Gi-Oh channel. So I'm going to make another Yu-Gi-Oh channel. It's already made. It's approved by YouTube. I just have to make sure that I'm going to do the intro video, make sure I have all my bullet points ready to let the audience know what's going to be on this channel. So yeah, going to be getting a whole bunch of content done. Tuesday, we're probably not going to have an episode of the MSK show because Labs Comic Fan is going to a doctor's appointment. So in any case, I'll probably just game stream actually. And on Wednesday, we have the panel show, 7 p.m. PST, because Professor Savage Dad and my show is not going to be on for 2 weeks straight because he'll be out of town for work. And then when we get back to doing shows, we're going to do a comic book review on Von Coleman's book, Phenomenova #1. So that'll happen when I see Savage Dead again. Thursday, Cloud9 podcast with Chaz, 7:30 p.m. PST. And then I have the show with Lunchbox Warren. We're probably going to end up reviewing the comic book for Absolute Wonder Woman issue 4. We can finish off that. And then we'll probably have a topic somewhere in there, or we might just review Absolute Wonder Woman issue number 4. And then Friday, we'll probably just review another book, or we'll just do some topics with me and Warren as well. And then Saturday, I have a one-on-one with Devil Made Me Do It. So as you guys know, the MSK show only runs Mondays through Fridays. With the weekends, if I have an MSK show episode, it'd be a one-on-one. And that's if I plan it out. But if not, the weekends are reserved for like game streams and the Cloud9 podcast. So yeah, hopefully you guys had a great weekend. It's, good to be back and not black because I'm white actually. And have a great week, everybody. And we'll see you later. Thank you guys for checking out this episode of the MSK show.